Well, these lenses make sure that patients feel comfortable, and the optic zone is highly stabilized. Scleral contact lenses are suitable also for correcting presbyopia. Just some indications. In the literature, we have a lot of information on the safety and efficacy of these lenses, of the scleral lenses. We may only rely on anecdotal evidence. The important thing is to highlight the fact that, especially on the US market, there will be new lenses which don't confine themselves to correcting irregular astigmatism or providing ocular protection or lubricity of the surface. All the designs are quite similar to those for corneal GP lenses or soft lenses. And usually they have a prolata asphericity, negative asphericity. They are centennial lenses. In Las Vegas, Ferry State University presented a series of studies. They are quite repeatable, and you can be inspired by these studies to carry out similar ones in your centers. They investigated the use of these lenses in patients who had never worn lenses. They had irregular corneas. These are the results. Craig Norman specified how many lenses he had to use before reaching fitting success. 1.66, 1.71 higher than the number required for soft and rigid contact lenses. But the comments of the patients are really very interesting. They report that they are satisfied in quite a large number. There's a difference depending on whether they give their feedback after 1 week or 1 month. Some impressions are the same as we know from scleral lenses in irregular corneas. It's difficult to introduce them and remove them. The other interesting comment is about visual acuity. Certainly there is a perception that visual acuity improves in general. Well, we're talking about visual performance, not visual acuity. I'm sorry, says the speaker. Craig Norman has reported that many patients have said, I can see better, but please give me my soft contact lenses back. Well, this is not a publication, it's a talk during a congress. If you're interested in applying scleral lenses on irregular corneas, you have to consider this. First of all, you have a centration problem. And then, since they elevate, these lenses may cause some problems because in compensating high-order aberrations, this elevation has a role to play. Then fogging, transient fogging, because of many causes. further reduces the visual quality performance of the lens and wettability. In clinical practice, it was observed that blinking reduces its frequency during the use of scleral lenses. Wettability is reduced and lubricity too. All these factors can further complicate the fitting of scleral lenses in presbyopia with patients having irregular corneas. Martina Colasanto in Turin took 40 subjects who'd never worn contact lenses before. They were put in with 3 different systems with the hands and with other systems. Then she took a picture of the decentration of the optic zone compared to the pupil center and the K angle. She observed that decentration is actually present vertically in the majority of cases and temporally. Applegate's group in Houston studied the same phenomenon. Since these are stable and comfortable lenses, they wonder whether one could plan higher order aberrations than those offered by the characteristics of the lens. They've used all these sophisticated systems, SLD and all the other acronyms, show the design in the periphery. If we're dealing with a toric design in the periphery, you can reduce decentration and stabilize the lens more. The other thing they did in Houston was to investigate, or rather simulate, the visual acuity reduction as a function of decentration. This is also quite interesting. The idea was to further investigate this point also on our part. The problem of decentration is not a trivial one. We know from theoretical models and also from our clinical experience that there have to be minimum height or maximum height parameters of the contact lens from the cornea so as to fit contact lenses in a safe way. The green area shows the elevation. On the left, you have the cornea, and on the right, you have the surface of the contact lens once it's in. This clearance is always asymmetrical. There is a clearance prism which may play a role. Now it's not investigated a lot. This is a poster of some time ago. Paraxial optics was assessed to look at the thickness, the supra-refraction value one should expect after fitting a scleral lens. This is significant information for high ametropia levels. Here, decentration is not considered. But this is what we're interested in because we know that if you fit multifocal contact lenses in a non-centered way, you're much less effective. The 2 lenses on the right and on the left should never be fitted. In a regular eye, 2 lenses with different sagittal depth were applied. The one to the right has a sagittal depth which is certainly less than that of the cornea, so It is very low compared to the cornea. The other one has a depth which is greater than the covered corneal arch. The interesting thing is that there is a difference in compensating for high-order aberrations, and also the coma is different. Coma is the primary aberration caused by decentration. So if you want to improve the fitting of scleral lenses in such corneas, you have to consider decentration. The other day, I wrote to Craig Norman, and he was telling me that he is waiting for scleral lenses with decentered optics to come up on the market. It's the easiest solution in his opinion. As Dr. Mencucci said yesterday, in presbyopes you have dry eye problems. In presbyopes, dry eye is a more frequent occurrence, and together with less wettability of the surface, there may be smudging, which is very frequent in the affected population. This smudging further reduces the quality of vision, and we have to consider this. This is a picture which summarizes everything: smudging and the dirty surface of the contact lens, which is not clean enough. This is after 2 hours of using scleral contact lenses, not 18. You have the fogging phenomenon. A reduction in the clarity of the fluid which is trapped under the lens, and the bubble. It was outside the optic field. This bubble has a weight, it's trapped gas, it causes a transient refractive change, and it could further complicate the scenario. Now, to conclude, in regular eyes, stability and comfort may be an opportunity to be exploited. The companies will try and fit these contact lenses. There are still some problems to solve. There would be much more to say. Certainly, we haven't got clear ideas about the efficacy of these lenses, but as for their safety, we have to rely on the data and the experience we have gathered in cases other than presbyopes. I hope to see you in Florence soon. Thank you.